of you know me by now. You know that I tell you exactly what I'm feeling. You know I hate politics. But you also know that I care about this nation. You know how much I care about all of our children. So if you take one thing from my words tonight, it is this. If you think things cannot possibly get worse, trust me, they can and they will if we don't make a change in this election.
It is worth reminding yourself of that entire speech again. Go back and watch the whole thing. It's incredible. Joining our Mary group, Washington Bureau Chief and White House Correspondent for the GRIO, April Ryan. Dan and the Rev are still here. So, April, my team dug up this statistic, which I thought was amazing. Among the 100 most viral stories about DNC topics, this is in 2020, there were 7.5 million social media interactions on stories about Michelle Obama's speech. The resonance she has, the way people feel about what she says, isn't even a political conversation. She's almost bigger than that. She's a cultural icon. And I wonder what you make of the sort of power 1-2 punch, if you will, of President Obama and Michelle Obama speaking tonight on behalf of Kamala Harris.
Yeah, well, first of all, Michelle Obama is stratospheric. She is an icon. She is authentic. When you talk about someone reaching someone, she is Chicago born and bred, South Side. You can't get more authentic than that. And when she speaks to the heart. So let's go there. And people believe her and feel her. But when you have two people beyond Reverend Al Sharpton, who I'm sitting right next to, who are some of the greatest orators of our time, people are going to listen. This moment is even larger than when Barack Obama became president. I remember the night that he was elected. And I happened to be at the White House, Nicole. And I'll never forget all the kids who ran to the White House and just this spontaneous crowd because they saw change. They saw people who are authentic and look like them. And Michelle Obama is that person. She says, when they go low, we go high. She's raised her kids. She's looked like an everyday woman instead of being this iconic woman that you could see in Vogue. She stays the same. She cares about people. And that's why people listen to her. And then with her husband, I mean, I joke about this, but there's Jesus, HBCUs, and then there's Barack Obama. It may change. It may change a little bit, Kamala Harris becomes president. But, these are two people want to hear from, especially, Nicole, right now, as we've heard so much about this tension, if you will, these conversations about how to save the democracy that ultimately led to President Biden saying, I'm going to step aside for the sake of the democracy to make sure that we can keep the republic.
I mean, April, that gets us back to the threat of Trump. And I went back and watched President Obama's speech for 2020. And like I said to Dan a minute ago, I remember being shaken when I heard it. I think I was here. It was COVID, and they didn't have any crowds, but we were all here together, socially distanced. And I remember thinking, oh my God. I mean, he is begging us to help save America, to help save the country from a second Trump term. Her speech was less explicit, but almost got you with the same warning at a gut level. You think it can't possibly get worse. Trust me, they can. There's no one who more bluntly, other than President Biden himself, who would go on to prevail. But in that 2020 convention, there was no one whose warning was more dire than the warnings from President Obama and Michelle Obama.
Yes, because, Nicole, they felt it. There were so many days that they were just thankful, to make the day. And that's something that people don't talk about because of the unique nature of this president and the first lady. They had threats. And there were concerns, and some of those threats came out of the conversations, the very negative, the very racial, the very divisive conversations about this couple that was leading not only this nation, but the world. And so they understood firsthand, making sure their children were safe when they went to school and trying to live a normal life, making sure they were safe. You know, we had people jumping over the fence and running around, you know, just because that place is a magnet. But add on top of that, race and politics, something new in a space that had not seen that before. So they understand from a whole different point. I understand as someone who's covered it from another point.
Yeah.
Whenever this man has your name in his mouth, it's not only dangerous, it's deadly, because the minions that follow him carry out something, these what do you call those, code words or these dog whistles. And it's very dangerous. But when she says those things, I believe her, and so does the rest of this country.